Well, in this last recording, we are going to demo the Lab 4 in Chapter 10. The practice of this Excel is try to show how to do some prescriptive analysis, which is normally the highest level in the data analytics. For our practice, we want to predict. For example, if your company want to break even for some period, or if you want to make a certain number of profit, how many sales unit we need to sell to the customers, or how much the price we need to set up for each unit, or how much the variable cost or fixed cost. So the book explanation is only focused on the break-even analysis with the units to be calculated, but I'm going to show for other ways we can do the prescriptive analysis as well. If you open your data set, for my demo data, I have all of the 12 months contribution margin income statement information. So first I'm going to calculate the remaining data for each month. So I will be able to show the net income, the initial net income for each month. And then I will demo the break even. So for example, we want to make the net income to be 0 or make a certain number of net income, and how we play around with the different inputs. So first I'm going to set up, so finish the calculation for the remaining of the income statement. We already know the sales price per unit, so $7 constantly for all of the months. And also the unit of sales we set up as 300. Unit cost is different, so varied among the 12 months, but the fixed cost is constant, so $1,000. Then I'm going to finish the calculation for the remaining items. Variable cost, this is the variable total cost. So should equals to the unit of sale times the unit cost. This unit cost is a unit variable cost. So then we have a $1,350 variable cost for January. Then the total cost will equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost. And then sales revenue equal to the sales price per unit times the unit of sales. So it's not really in the income statement order, okay, as we do, but this is focused on managerial analysis, not really preparing income statement. So the net income will equal to the sales revenue minus the total cost. And you can see for the first month, based upon the current situation, we are going to lose $250 from the operations rather than making profits. So we will try to analyze if we want to break even or make some profits and how the operational inputs should be. But first, let me copy all of the formula, like to the other months. So I will have all of this, and then I just drag to the remaining months. So we can see we see variations about the net income, for different months. So first, I will do a break-even analysis for January. The questions I listed underneath. And to avoid the confusing with the original data, I'm going to copy the January in another column, so we can compare it with the original. So I'm going to copy this. And still January. But in this second column, I'm going to give you some prescription. So for example, I want the net income to become 0, it means break even. And how many units we needed to sell, we can break even. So you can imagine we need to sell more units to break even, but how much should it be? In managerial accounting, we learned the break-even formula, right? So if you remember, it should be the total fixed cost divided by the unit contribution margin. Certainly, you can calculate for the break-even sales units, but Excel has a easy direct function we can use for this prediction. We call what if analysis. So for this one, you need to go to the data, and there is a one option. So what if analysis here. So click on this function. You see three different options, and let's choose the second one, goal seek. So goal seek, you can tell by the name. So we want to achieve some goal, seek some goal, and how we need to change the inputs to achieve the goal. So click on that, you will see a pop-up, a small pop-up window. And we need to set up the goal. So the first set sale is your goal. So like, and here I want to look for this one, the net income for January. Okay, so this is C9. So this is my goal sale. So like, so which sale I want to set up my goal. And my goal this time, I want to get zero income. So means no loss, no profit. Okay, that's break even. So set up C9 to 0 by changing. And this is the factor I want to change. And I want to find out how many units we needed to sell to break even. So the changing the sale will be like your factor sale will be this one C3, right? So how many units we need to sell more to become zero profit. And now once you set up your goal and define which factor you want to change, and then you can see it will quickly simulate. And now you can see from the original 300, we need to sell 100 units more. And by keeping all other factors, you can achieve break even for January. So imagine if you are the manager, you are planning the future operations. Initially, you are looking for January, we are suffering the loss, and then I want to change the situation and by what we should do in this case. And once you finish and you click on OK and leave this, this is a prediction column or prescription column January. And so you can also, if you have interest, you can do this break even for all of the remaining months. But I'm going to show something else in addition to the break even. Now I will work on the February data. February, again, right now we are losing $40. So first you may want to try break even. Okay, like how much? But let me copy and fill this so we can see different ways. So I'm just copying the data. So the first data, the first one I want to do break even. Okay, I mean just place here. Okay, break even. So break even, just repeat what we have done for January. So here we initiate. So go to the data tab and initiate what if and goal seek. And this time the goal will be this, I already put it here. Okay, E9, I want it to be 0. And then by changing the cell is F. This one should be F also, okay, be consistent. So F9 to be 0. And then the value, the F9 to be 0 and how many units we need to sell. This is for, sorry, it's E. Okay, confused myself. So E and E none, and then this is E3 also. So we want to E none to be 0, and how many units we sell under E3. Okay, then click OK. And now can they will play. We need to sell about like 13 more units for February. Okay, so we can break even. And why you have like a smaller, like a lower break even for February than January, if you can tell, the variable cost per unit in February is smaller or is lower than January. So in that case, if you have a lower variable cost, then the break even will become less also, or is explain the situation. So that's like one. So break even for February. And then for February, I want to do like a targeted profit. Okay, I have a more ambitious goal. Okay, I want to have a targeted profit, for example, $200. I want to make more profits rather than just a break even. Then how many units we need to sell to make a 200 profit? We still can do the similar goal seeking, but this time, okay, let's set up the what if the goal seek. This time I'm looking for F9. F9 is my net income. I don't want it to be 0. I want it to be positive $200. So this is the goal. And then by changing the sale is still for example, the sales units. And we can imagine we needed to sell more, but how many more we need? And you need to sell 375 units. Okay, for another situation, for February, if we want to get $200 profit, so target profit analysis by changing the units. Also, sometimes I want to achieve some goal, but may not necessarily change my units. I may, for example, I can adjust my price. Okay, if I can increase the price a little bit, and I want to see is this price increase plausible. Okay, possible, but I want to know first how much the price I need to raise to have my goal achieved. So let's do like this one, a price scenario. So for this third scenario, for example, I want to set up my profit for January to be $100 and keep other factors no change. But I want to see how much the price I needed to charge to achieve this $100 profit. So still let's initiate the what if analysis. So go seek. And again, this time I'm looking for G9, right? So the profits G9, and this time I want it to be 100. But this time I'm not looking for changing my units, but I'm looking change for the price, sales price per unit. So by changing the price, I want to achieve a $100 profit. So now you run the analysis, you can see I need to change or increase my price a little bit, like about 50 cents, but 47 cents. So without changing my sales volume, then I have to increase the price 47 cents to achieve a $100 profit. And there are many other ways you can, like how about maybe we can reduce the fixed cost, or maybe you can reduce the variable cost. You can play with the different scenarios to achieve the goal and to see which one is the most possible way we can achieve the goal. But there is a little bit of restriction here. You already probably can tell. So when I initiate the what if analysis, I only can change one factor, right? So by changing the cell. But in reality, sometimes we may need to change two factors in the same time. increase the price, or maybe and increase the units. Okay, or sometimes we increase the price, the units will be reduced, right? So like those more complicated situations. But this simple goal seeking, we are looking for changing one factor only. This is kind of the limitation. And also, there is a like forecasting or prediction. There is also forecasting sheet. And this one you can predict the trend. If you already have the revenue or use your historical data, you can use a forecasting sheet to predict the data trend in the future. Okay, there's also, you can see this is more like a predictive analysis. So when you work on your own assignment for this level 4, you will have the income data, the data for different products rather than the months I have here. But the way you do it is identical, okay, just by looking for the different products rather than looking for the data in different months. Again, in the book, they only focus on the break even, but we can do other things, okay, other things using the what if analysis.